Welcome to Module 5. In this module, we're going to cover the DS2 PC Based Installation. The DS2 can be operated from a standard standalone PC, foregoing the need for a server. In this application, all instrument records and administrative software are stored on the local PC. This is particularly useful for applications requiring only one access point for instrument docking and if 8 or less DS2 are required. For larger installations of more than 8 DS2s, or if there is more than one access point for instrument docking required, a server must be employed. In this module, we will cover the software installation for a PC-based system. The next module, we will cover server-based installation. To ensure the full functionality of the docking station system, certain PC requirements must be fulfilled. First, we have to ensure that the PC we're using is at least a Pentium 3 800 MHz or higher. We also have to ensure that we have at least 265 megabytes of RAM. We also have to ensure that we have 4 gigabytes of free hard drive disk space, and that we're using at Windows 2000 Professional, Windows XP Professional, or Windows Vista. We also have to ensure the full functionality of the docking station system. Certain PC requirements must be fulfilled, and this would be certain software components that must be installed. For example, we have to ensure that the Internet Information Services, otherwise known as IIS, must be installed and operating in the system. Keep in mind, this may require your operating system CD if this component is not already installed in your system. We also have to ensure that message queuing, MSMQ, must be installed and operating in the system, which can also be found on your operating system CD. And before installing these components, we have to ensure that we remove or disable our wireless connection and place the PC on a LAN via Ethernet during this installation. If you are connecting just a single DS2 to your PC, then an Ethernet crossover cable must be employed, which is different than your standard Ethernet cable. When connecting more than one DS2 to the PC, we have to use now the standard Ethernet cables, and we must use that through a hub, switch, or router. Any network device, for example a hub, the DS2 itself, or a router, must be connected to the PC via Ethernet during installation. So to summarize, if I have just a single standalone DS2 connecting to my PC, I must use the Ethernet crossover cable. But if I'm using more than one DS2 and I'm routing those through a router, a hub, then I must use the standard Ethernet cables. Before the installation of the docking station server software on the PC, the operating system must have both IIS and MSMQ installed. If these components are not installed, the installation will automatically abort and a message will appear letting the user know that these components must be installed prior to DSS installation. If the Windows operating system disk is available, the following steps will help in the installation of these critical components. So when installing your IIS and your MSMQ, the first thing we have to do is navigate to our control panel. And we get there by selecting Start, Settings, and then we will be able to select Control Panel. Then we need to click on Add and Remove Programs. From there, we click on Add and Remove Windows Components over on the left. And then we need to click or check IIS. If already checked, this service is currently installed. At this point, we need to check message queuing. If already checked, this service is currently installed. For both message queuing and IIS, the steps described here are consistent with all operating systems. But on XP Professional only, we have to click and highlight message queuing, and then click on Details, We also have to make sure that the common box is checked and not the active directory integration box. Now, for those users of Windows Professional 2000, we need to click and highlight Message Queuing. Then we need to click Next. And then we need to leave the independent client selected. We then click Next again. And now we need to select Message Queuing will not access directory service. And then we click Next again. We can finish the installation by installing the Windows operating system software disk and following the prompts accordingly. And now we can install our docking station server software, or our DSS. After placing the DS2 operating CD into the computer, this screen will appear. We click on Install Docking Station Server. This will automatically launch the DSS installer. Click on the Next at the Docking Station Server screen. At this point, we read through and click Yes to accept the license agreement. And now we click Next to start the prerequisite check. Now ensure that the first button is selected and click Next to install MSDE. At the Review Settings screen, click Next to continue. Upon completion of the software installation, click on No, I will restart my computer later, then click Finish. Now let's look at installing our Docking Station Server Admin Console, otherwise known as DSSAC. DSSAC allows a user to access all instrument records and settings held in the Docking Station server. This software must be installed to view and change records, although DSSAC is not necessary for the Docking Station functionality. To learn more about the Docking Station Server Admin Console, refer to Module 4. After placing the DS2 operating CD into the computer, this screen will appear. We now click on Install Docking Station Server Admin Console. And at the Welcome screen, we're going to then click Next. And now read and click Yes to accept the license agreement. And now you should enter the user and company name before clicking Next. At the Choose Destination Location screen, click Next. And at the Start Copying File screen, also click Next. After the setup is complete, click Finish. And now we can move on to installing our Docking Station Configurator. The Docking Station Configurator allows a user to broadcast out to the docking stations the server IP and the docking station IP. This is useful if broadcaster option is disabled or is incapable of successfully broadcasting the IP address. To install the Docking Station Configurator, place the DS2 operating CD into the computer and this screen will appear. Click on Install Docking Station Configurator. At the Welcome screen, click Next. Now click Yes to accept the license agreement. And the user and company name should be entered before clicking Next. At the Choose Destination Location screen, click Next. At the Start Copying File screen, click Next. Upon completion, click Finish.